Hi everyone. I'm going to just work through all of the questions on these two pages, and right below here I'm going to put on the screen I'm going to put the times when each question starts. So you can use this any way that works for you. If you want to watch the whole thing, if you want to try a question and then see if you got it, did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? Where did you make a mistake? You can do that. Whatever works for you. I just want to put this out here. But I do want to emphasize that there's nothing new here. Everything that's in these questions you've seen already, and you've done questions with integers and with decimals. We're just working with fractions now. It does make it uglier. It does make you more prone to mistakes. But fractions are just numbers. You use them the same way. You do the same things with them. Okay. All right. Let's get started. So for question one, um, you know that I really am insistent that each line equals each line. So I'm going to recopy this. And I'm going to take care of this exponent. Oh, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is change them all to to improper fractions. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And you may not have seen this square brackets, round brackets thing before, um, but it's just a way of differentiating which bracket belongs with which. And usually we put the round brackets inside and the square brackets outside. It's just a way of saying you're going to do the round brackets first, and that 7 over 2, that the round bracket pairs with the round bracket and the square bracket pairs with the square bracket. That's all it is. Notice that when I do this, I'm going to write the denominator down first. I put the 8 first, and then I go, okay, what did I need to do to the 2 to go from 2 to 8? I had to multiply by 4, so 7 times 4 is 28. But I'm always going to write the denominators down first. I'm a fan of be smart about your lazy, and the more you put down on your paper, the less you have to juggle in your brain. So I backed that, or I erased those numbers because looking ahead when I'm not talking, I would notice that I'm going to have a denominator of 8 here. So I need a denominator of 8 here, and I can do that in this step. So I can do that. And then it's going to be minus 97 over 8, which equals negative 93 over 8. And there's my answer. All right, question 2. This one's pretty ugly. I'm going to float my negative up and put it here, and then I'm going to write it as a division question with brackets because that's going to make more sense to me. So 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1, so this is negative 10 over 3 divided by, and then this is 1, and I can do the 3 over 2. Oh, when I was first looking at this, I saw this as a variable x, and I was quite confused because I was doing algebra stuff before. That is a times sign in this page, so just be aware of that. Anyway, if I multiply negative 3 halves times negative 1, that becomes plus 3 halves. So that's negative 10 over 3 divided by, that's 2 over 2, so that's 5 over 2. Which is negative 10 over 3 times 2 over 5. And then I'm going to cross reduce. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So this equals negative 4 over 3. Question 3. Looking inside the brackets. Now, you know what? I'm just going to rewrite everything with improper fractions first. That's just not worth juggling it. So that's 1 over 6 times negative 13 over 5 minus 1 over 6. And then that's times 12, 17 over 6, negative 17 over 6. Okay, so I'm going to do this multiplication first. So this is going to be negative 13 over 30 minus, and then my 1 over 6 needs to be something over 30. So that's 6 times 5 is 31 times 5, and then times negative 17 over 6. I do not need a common denominator when I'm going to multiply things, so looking ahead, I don't need to change that. So this is negative 18 over 30 times negative 17 over 6. So I'm going to change my colors again. I'm going to, negative times a negative makes a positive, so I'm going to cancel those out. And then 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 18 divided by 6 is 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 30 divided by 3 is 10. So this becomes what I have left. I'll just write this out. I've got 1 over 10 times 17 over 1. I didn't need to write that, but I just wrote it so you can see what I have left. And so that's going to be 17 over 10. And it's positive because my negatives canceled out, and I showed that with my red line. Question 4. First thing I'm going to do is this exponent, which is negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. So be really careful with your positives and negatives. Plus 1 over 3 minus 9 over 5. Okay, I need a denominator of 15, common denominator of 15, so that's going to be something over 15 plus something over 15 minus something over 15. And remember that my 36 is over 1. So 1 times 15 is 15, 36 times 15 is 540, and yes, I would use a calculator for that. 3 times 5 is 15, 1 times 5 is 5, 5 times 3 is 15, 9 times 3 is 27, and then I'm just going to 540 plus 5 minus 27 is 518 over 15 is my answer. All right, page 2. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I've got this negative minus negative. I'm just going to make that plus. That's just so much simpler to deal with if I get rid of that right away. So I do know, I mean, there is an order of operations you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do this first and then do the multiplication and then do the addition. But I've done enough of these that I know that eventually I'm actually going to add these two together. So I'm just going to do that now and have less that I'm carrying down the page with me. So this is going to be negative 2 over 3 plus, and I'm going to change the rest of this to improper fractions. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3, so that's 7. 7 over 4 times negative 2 plus 18 over 5. All right, and then I'm going to rewrite this as negative 3. Oh my goodness. Negative 2 over 3 plus 7 over 4 times negative 2 is the same as negative 10 over 5 plus 18 over 5. Negative 2 over 3 plus 7 over 4 times, that's going to be 8 over 5. And now I've got to multiply this, but I can cross reduce, so that becomes a 1 and that becomes a 2. So this is negative 2 over 3 plus 14 over 5. And then I need a common denominator of 15. So 3 times 5 is 5. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. 5 times 3, 14 times 3 is 42. So this equals 32 over 15. And I can't reduce that. Okay. Question 6. Well, that's an ugly question. Let's get rid of all those mixed numbers and just make it a little bit less ugly. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. So this is negative 8 thirds times. I'm going to make my round brackets square as the outside ones. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15 over 4, and that whole thing is squared, minus 6 times 2 is 12, that's 13 over 2, times 1 over 6. Okay, negative 8 over 3 times 15 squared is 225, and 4 squared is 16. And then I can do this multiplication at the same time. This is 13 over 12. And I need a common denominator for the 16 and the 12. Now you can multiply them together, but you hopefully also recognize that they're both factors of 48, so I can use 48 as my common denominator. You will get the same answer either way. You just, if you use smaller numbers, life is easier. So this becomes something over 48 minus something else over 48. 16 times 3 is 48. 225 times 3 is 675. 12 times 4, so 13 times 4, which is 52. And you do get a calculator for these questions, okay? But I want you to show me the work so I know that you're following the process instead of just plugging it all in your calculator. So this is negative 8 over 3 times 623 over 48. And 8 goes into 48, so 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 48 divided by 8 is 6. And 623 doesn't divide by 3, so I can't reduce it going that way. So my answer is negative 623 over 18, which is a pretty ugly number, but it's the right one. All right. Okay, question 7. First thing I'm going to do here is change these both to pluses because that just makes life less confusing. And then I have 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19 over 6 plus 7 over 2, all in brackets, divided by. And here I actually noticed that 3.5 plus 3.5 is 7. So I can just change that to 7, and that's 7 squared. And I can put brackets or I can not put brackets because there's no negative there. It's the same thing, doesn't matter. Okay, so now I need a common denominator over here. So this is 19 over 6 plus something over 6. And 2 times 3, so 7 times 3 is 21, and that's divided by 49. 19 plus 21 is 40 over 6. Now, instead of writing divided by 49, I'm going to go times 1 over 49, because that's how we multiply when we're working with, or divide when we're working with fractions, and 49 over 1 are the same thing. Okay, and that equals 40 over 294, and I can reduce that. And actually, I now notice I could have reduced 40 over 6 to 20 over 3. But it doesn't matter as long as I reduce it somewhere along the way. I can divide these both by 2, and I get 20 over 147. And there's my answer. Last example. All right. I've got a minus minus. I'm just going to make that plus. Oh, I've seen other people do that instead of doing it like that. They write it like this. They make this a giant plus sign. I like that too. It's not how I have done it for 30 years, so it's not how I think of doing it. Okay, so I have 7 over 4 times 5 plus 3 is negative 8 over 5 minus 2 over 3 divided by bracket. And I've got 4 plus 4 and 2/5, so I'm going to make that, this 4 is 20 over 5 plus 2 over 5. And on the left side here, I need a common denominator, 7 over 4 times, this is going to be over 15. Boy, we're sure having a lot of over 15s this time, aren't we? 5 times 3, 24. 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 5, so this is negative 10, divided by, and this is 22 over 5. Okay, looking ahead just a little bit here, I can see that my next line, I'm going to change this into a multiplication. So I'm actually going to do all of that in one step so that this becomes 7 over 4 times, and then this is negative 34 over 15, and times 5 over 22. And now I've got three multiplications. I can do a bunch of cross-reducing before I multiply them all together. So I'm going to start with 34 and 4 can both be divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 34 divided by 2 is 17. And 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. So I'm just going to rewrite this for clarity for you. So this now is 7 over 2 times negative 17 over 3 times 1 over 22. This line is not really necessary to write out if up here is clean. If this is clear enough that you can read it, you don't need to write this one out. And then my answer here is negative 119 over 132. And there's my answer. Okay, so I'm hoping you see that there's nothing new here. There's nothing tricky. It's just grinding your way through it. It's just meticulous, careful work and knowing how to work with fractions. Okay, um, that's it. Have a great day. Bye.